Hello and welcome to ISC2 Insights. I'm Chris Green. Joining me today to talk about cybersecurity certifications in academia is Brian Callahan, ISSMP, CISSP, CCSP, SSCP, and CC. Brian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, Brian, you're in a very interesting position. You're a lecturer, you're a professor, and now you've got the opportunity to run your own cybersecurity research center at a university. Really keen for you to tell us a bit more about what you've been doing, the recent moves that you've made professionally, and how it's all really coming together right now.
Yeah, so currently I'm a specialist professor at Monmouth University in central New Jersey. Prior to that, I was a senior lecturer at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in upstate New York. Both universities now benefit from the ISC2 academic partnership. I brought that to both of the universities. Right now, I'm having so much fun running my own center. We do a lot of research in quantum cybersecurity, in generative AI cybersecurity, and my students just love it. They eat all this stuff up. They're so excited to be part of kind of something larger than them in a field that they're very passionate about.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you're touching on some real cutting edge stuff as well in terms of the areas you're focusing on.
Yeah, no, like I said, everything we do is cutting edge. It's so much fun. And like I said, the students absolutely love it.
Wonderful. Well, look, let's talk a little bit about the academic partnership side of things. Um, now, where would you say? I mean, in terms of what you're doing at the moment, what you're teaching, the courses that you teach, the programs that you run, how do these benefit from being an academic partner with ISC2?
Yeah, so one of the things that the academic partnership really allows us to do is advertise, one, that we are part of this larger cybersecurity community that's outside of the walls of our little campus, right? All of our students get to walk away not just with a degree, but also with one, or depending on if they're graduate students or not, two certifications from ISC2 that shows that they not only know the material, they know how to work with all of that material. They can walk into the field and immediately begin to contribute. And for the students, I have found that they actually really enjoy being part of ISC2. In fact, on my way here to Congress, I had a bunch of students say to me, can we buy ISC2 merch? I said, I don't really know, because it's been a while since I think they've sold any, but I said, I'll come back with a lot of merch for all of you. They love, even both at RPI and at Monmouth, they really love feeling like they are part of that global community of cybersecurity professionals.
And I wanted to ask, I mean, how does it really change, I suppose, the experience when you're trying to teach classes, teach a curriculum that's anchored in an academic partnership with a certification provider versus teaching a more, and I mean this to show you, a more generic curriculum that's not aligned with any one set of professional development programs?
Yeah, my kind of flagship InfoSec course has the CC certifications, an undergraduate level course, the CC certification as one of its deliverables. So as part of this semester, the students have to go book their exam. Thank you, ISC2, for the 1 million CC program so that they can all go and get that for free. But the way I always explain to them is I say, hey, when the ISC2 organization makes these certifications, they don't just make it off the top of their heads, right? They are constantly working with industry partners, with academic partners, et cetera, to make sure that the content that we're going to do together not only meets the demands of what a 21st century cybersecurity practitioner needs to know, but specifically what the industry is telling us, hey, we really need at this entry level, very early career level. So they're not just taking a course where we're going to learn a whole lot of material because we have to learn a whole lot of material. We're going to learn targeted material about maximizing their ability to be successful on day one out in the field. And I think students really kind of appreciate that and really kind of are attracted to that.
Absolutely. And what would you say beyond that is the biggest benefits of having an academic partnership with ISC2?
Yeah. For me, it's getting to know all of you who work at ISC2. No, seriously, I've made so many friends at ISC2 over the last few years. I brought students to Congress with me the last 2 years to present some of our research. And it's so much fun to watch all of you here who work for ISC2 meet my students, say hello to them, say, oh, I follow you on LinkedIn. I'm so happy to finally see you. So from my perspective, I love seeing it because I love seeing the students be successful. And again, for the students, I really do think it is, they genuinely enjoy knowing that our university is tied to the global network that ISC2 provides, right? We have in New Jersey, we have that very large ISC2 New Jersey chapter.
Yes.
When I was up at RPI, I actually started and studed through the process of the Capital District New York chapter. So even though I've now left RPI, there is a chapter up there for all the students. And I was the one who actually led that project in my last about year and a half at RPI. And the students tell me all the time, they love being able to meet with all these professionals because it's networking opportunities, it's internship opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have, it's job opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have. I mean, ISC2 really for us has been the complete package for ensuring that these students are not just successful in that small window of time that I have them with me, but they're successful for many, many years after they have left.
I mean, that's great to hear. I mean, as you can appreciate, all of us here at ISC2, I mean, we share a sense of mission as a membership association. So knowing that we're able to actually, convey that across into the academic world, and it's being picked up by your students is really encouraging to hear. That's what we're always trying to strive to achieve. So it's great. So talking a little bit more really about how how you integrate ISC2 course materials and topics into what you're doing. What are the sort of resources and support that you get to support what you're doing?
Yeah, so one of the nice things about the academic partnership is part of that program is to actually bring in ISC2's official training materials into the classroom, right? So we are able to get the very same wonderful materials that everybody else can get as well. And for me personally, as part of all this, I had to become an ISC2 authorized instructor. So we also get to communicate to the students, right? Not just are you learning from these very high class, high quality materials, you are also learning from someone who is part of the whole kind of process of making sure that you are going to be successful in these certification exams.
Well, that's right. And that's the thing. I mean, we've got to remember is that, as part of a broader curriculum, you are ultimately, you are doing, instructor-led courses on CC and SSCP effectively.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what's your strategy for how you go about integrating that material into a curriculum?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, it's part of a broader degree program, right? So we use ISC2, particularly I'll talk about the undergraduates first. I'll talk about the graduate students second because they do different exams. So for the undergraduate level, the CC exam, they really do it in oftentimes their very first security class with me. And the way that I pitch it is, this is all the topics you need to know, and the vocabulary you need to know, and the way of thinking that you need to know to begin to walk into a real career, that first job or that first internship. And you may not be an expert in any one of those things, but you will not get lost, right? You will be able to make it through that workday, listening to what everyone is talking about, being able to integrate that, okay, right, when I took the exam and I were studying for it in class, we talked about this. And so I heard that somebody mentioned something at work, and now I can at least meaningfully follow along kind of on the path to being able to contribute.
Yeah.
And I tend to partner with some more hands-on activities. So we do a lot of lab work, for example. I make my students play in CTF tournaments. We actually just played in one last week, a nationwide tournament. We won. I was so happy for them. We had some students actually won that tournament. So that's kind of on the undergraduate side. On the graduate side, we really are beginning to talk about what it means to actually lead a team. And I think the SSCP does a really good job at giving them that initial foray into, if you're going to lead a team, not only is this the knowledge that you have to have, this is the decision-making that you have to make, right? The SSCP is really where we begin to see the exam and the material begin to say, okay, well, there's going to be a lot of gray area in what we do in cybersecurity, right? You may have a situation and you have options, and none of those options are perfect. What is the best imperfect option? Or you may not like any of the options you have, but your company only has so much of a budget and only so much time, and well, we got to deal with a real situation right now. So what is it that you are going to do to best lead your teams? So when I'm thinking about graduate students, I'm thinking about incorporating ISC2's offerings into that kind of managerial mindset of, okay, you might have other classes where we learn kind of the brass tacks of this stuff, and now we're going to show you how to actually manage your way through all those things and lead other people who are actually going to be doing that more hands-on work.
Which actually brings on nicely to ask you, How does all this then ultimately translate into workplace readiness for your students?
I have had companies come back to me and say, for the undergraduates, just thinking about the younger students here, having that CC exam on their resume was a point in their favor and signaled to those internships that, hey, this is a person who we can just get started with things. Actually, one of the students who's here with me for Congress this year speaking, she mentioned to me last night that she was out on her internship and her boss would leave her alone for a day, give her some tasks to do, come back. And not only had she done the task, she had done maybe the 5 or 6 follow-up tasks that she knew was going to come all in that one day. And so I think the fact that they don't have to teach her all of the kind of brass tacks of security, they can say, hey, this is your job. I know you hadn't know how to do this. Go do it. Really lets them shine and stand out from their peers who might struggle in that because they don't have that background.
Absolutely. Now, look, we've talked a lot about the benefits and the successes of this program, but let's talk a little bit about maybe when it doesn't always entirely go to plan. Tell me about one of your bigger and more amusing, interesting mistakes.
Yeah, I have 2 good mistakes. So one is when we first got our quantum computer, we genuinely did not know how to use it. And I had to get in front of all of my students and say, in 4 months, we're going to have to present some cybersecurity quantum research. And I don't know how to use this thing, and you don't know how to use this thing. And we came up with some research ideas that sounded really good, like make an LLM with a quantum machine. Turns out you can't do with modern quantum machines. So we had to really struggle. So that was one. But my best mistake that I ever made, I know the cameras can't see it, but she's right there. Her name is Shoshana. I turned to her about 2 years ago when the CFP for Congress last year in 2024 was open. And I said to her, hey, you're doing a great project on generative AI and cybersecurity for security awareness training.
Yeah.
I said, Security Congress is one of the largest conferences in the world for security. We will never get in, but they have a really good process for coming up with CFPs. So let's submit so I can teach you how to write your own CFPs so that when you find a conference that you like, you can just do it and you don't have to tell me, you can just submit and you'll get in and we'll go. And then we got accepted and we had to come here and present. And she was the absolute star of the show last year. And I mean, she had a fan club before we even landed in Las Vegas last year. And I think she has even more of a fan club now. So honestly, and I cannot thank ISC2 enough. They have done so, not just for Shoshana, but for all of our students. That one mistake really opened the door for so much opportunity for all hundreds of students that I have. And like, I can't be more grateful. I know that they also can't be more grateful.
That's a wonderful story to end on. Brian, thank you very much for joining us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
That's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. As always, keep an eye on our content at isc2.org/ISC2 Insights. Until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.